Welcome back to Ferocious Education. This is Ed. Today I'm going to be talking about SOS Cloud. Make sure to drop a like to this video to help the channel grow, subscribe, and leave notifications on. For this video, I'll cover due diligence and technical analysis. This is an update video, nonetheless will give you a good perspective on who they are. If you would like to watch my previous video, you'll find it in the description below, and I do recommend if you haven't watched my previous one to do so. Let's jump right into this one. So on the due diligence part, just to give you a quick perspective on who they are, think about blockchain. So their blockchain and technology, etc. And one of their most prominent operations including Bitcoin mining. And for instance, this is highlighted by their recent purchase on January 21st, 2021. And what you're looking at here is a purchase agreement to acquire 15,645 mining rigs with a Bitcoin hash power of 527p, Ethereum hash power of 1056 G. And now, this is one of the latest news there. Of course, there's other news I'll cover in a second. Also, on February 25th, we have around gross proceeds of $96.7 million for exercising warrants, and another one on February 9th on $48 million. So they're definitely adding a lot of proceeds from the warrants, exercising, etc. And some of the latest news is as well, including, this one here is the purchase of 4.3 million ADS, including in this offering, and that was at an exercise price around 10 million, and the offering closed around February 22nd, 2010, and the net proceeds of that was somewhere around 4.3 million ADS. So that gives you a bit more perspective on their operations. They're definitely raising capital here and there. You're looking at a total primary offering there around $1 billion. That is quite a hefty amount, but it allowed them to do that because of their massive increase in prices recently. Coming up, by the way, this is just a proposed offering, so don't freak out yet. This is just around 240 million shares, almost roughly around there, that could be proposed into the market. Of course, there's rules and etc. that limits them on how to do it. This is an updated one where the proposed maximum aggregate offering price is 179 million. So it's a little bit of a less price from there, but it is still the same amount of number of shares, around 240 million. So that 1 billion might not be accurate because of the changes in prices. This is from 23rd of February to the 3rd of March. A lot has changed from there. And a big part of this one here, and I cannot go ahead with the video without mentioning it, is partly the short seller report that ended up calling them. Basically, it's almost a joke for them. This company had some discrepancies in some of the paperwork, and also that their mining operations doesn't exist. And in regards to the short selling report, so just a quick perspective, if you were to go ahead and take a quick look into the SOS hashtag or quote or ticker on Twitter, you're able to see a lot of things that are really showing that they do actually have mining operations. This video has been circulating around. I've seen it multiple times. That does show, in fact, that they do have different minings. There's a second batch here of these rigs, etc. Shout out for the people who are posting it, but I've seen it around since I think almost a couple of days after. So I don't always follow the Twitter stuff. Sometimes it's helpful to see footage like this one here, since the SEC filings don't seem to actually mention that. Nonetheless, the SEC filings does go ahead and mention that, hey, these things are for short, and allegations are misleading, and that in fact they're misleading. The fact they have good operations there, it's all working. Sometimes there's a little bit of mistakes, and some people can recognize it as trying to be misleading, but so far from what it looks like is that SOS has a good support, and it does look like it has good operations. Now, with any company, there is always risk, and there's always risk that you need to consider about, well, what if some of these things are true? Maybe 10% of that would be true, but that wouldn't really affect their operations. For instance, an address mistake in one of the SEC filing, etc. That these things happens. But in terms of their operations, it's fair to say that we can actually go ahead and see these operations, especially on the rigs pictures that are provided online. In terms of institutional buyers, we get to see that it's a little bit mixed. So Morgan Stanley still has their positions from the 16th. You have different capitals adding, some selling. I would say it's a little bit mixed. I would say 50-50%, but it seems that some institutions such as HRT Financials and Intellectuals, we don't see how much they have put in, but we can get to see that they liquidated their positions. Bank of America, and you get to see other ones like Perlude Capital Management, etc. They have added some positions or calls. Morgan Stanley has increased their position by 55% on the 16th of February. Insiders, it looks like it's a little bit quiet from there. So that gives you a little bit of an update. It's been a little bit quiet. They're raising more capital, which honestly suggests two things: paying off of debt, which is a good thing and increases your price over book. And year two, it could be that they're looking to get more into blockchain in terms of more miners, etc., which is both positive things that will see a prominent input towards long-term investors for SOS. I'll discuss that a little bit more, so let's jump right into technical analysis. If you haven't done so, please make sure to subscribe and leave notifications on. It helps my channel a lot. If you would like to join our Discord server, it's in a chat room. You can ask me more questions to clarify. It's free. It's in the description below. So here on a one-day perspective, what we get to see is that the 10 SMA is close to the 30 EMA, and that's a little bit dangerous because if the 10 SMA drops from the 30 EMA, that's where bearish things can occur. It's considered a bearish reversal. Now, what we're seeing here is that the trading action zone is very thin, but the price point is still within there. So between the 10 SMA and the 30 EMA, that's where positive reversals occur, and you get to see it's barely clinching in there. It's still a better sign than it being below, but it's almost accumulating, and I'll discuss that in a second. In terms of the price point of the 50 SMA, it's above that, that's bullish. Now on the MACD, it looks like it might be attempting to go for a positive reversal sometime perhaps next week, Monday. In terms of momentum, we're getting to see that momentum is actually climbing up, and that's definitely a good thing. In terms of willing percent R, we're seeing a little bit of a neutral level here action. In terms of 2-hour perspective, what we get to see here is that things are looking sideways. The moving averages are all close to each other. The ADX is 10, and momentum is just on the line, as you get to see almost a 0 in MACD. So everything here is looking somewhat off, trading sideways. It's not showing any significant trends or anything to highlight. In terms of the moving averages, what we get to see is this moving average band is expected to trade 84.6 on the top, 769 in the middle, and 692 in the bottom. Currently, it's trading at 833. Stochastic fast and stochastic slow are both showing that this might actually be a good time to wait for an accumulation and then pick it up as you go, maybe an entry for a good bounce. Now, in terms of the chart here, what we get to see is that, oh, by the way, I said it's trading 833, my bad. It's actually trading 633. Now, currently here, what we get to see on the Fibonacci retracements, a significant support sits at 467 and then 121. Significant resistances are at 681, 855, 1028, 1274, and 1588. So if we were to go ahead and draw significant price line actions just in general, you get to see significant support currently lies at the 623, below there 601, below there we're looking at 534, 455, and then the 412. Significant resistances, we're looking at 711, we're looking at 784, we're looking up at 840, we're looking at 924, we're looking at up 1052, and then 1169, and then going up to 1275, and 1386, followed by 1512. And now comes to the question to Ed, what do you think about this one? And here's my actual straight out truth for this one here, from my opinion. I think that this stock has potential for longer term. They're doing things that are correct, and the market loves it, as you can get to see that word there from $1.21 even till $6. You're looking somewhat around 500%. Yet they have the price over book that is not there yet, and they're raising more capital to improve that. It's a little bit of a speculative play, but it can really reward it up and be back towards a $10 stock relative to the market cap. They need to prove themselves in terms of earnings, and that's what a lot of people are looking at. Next earnings would be a game changer, specifically as well that they do have a lot of these rigs running. What do you think about this ticker? Make sure to mention down in the comments below. Share, subscribe, and like. Have a wonderful day.